So the first part is the rule document says no grappling, and then it says grabbing of swords and hilts are okay. So there's often a little bit of confusion in that, and I'll borrow John for this. Can you grab a sword, not a saber? Yep. Actually, is there a rapier handy I can borrow? Thanks. So that's the kind of thing where, like, if he just lunges straight at me, yep, and I do this, fine, right? No contention there, it's good. If he comes in, yep, and I grab his sword, this is also fine. I should be aware of where my opponent is and where their hand is, right? So I don't want to be like trying to, well, I should make sure he can let go. Yep, this is an important thing. If I got my hand here and he can't let go, then I'm going to be pushing him around and pulling him over, and so far the ground's been our worst offender for injuring people, so we want to stay away from it. Yep. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, so there's also a little bit of, you can push an arm. So we want to make sure that we're not pushing the body or disbalancing other people. We definitely can't grab, so there's no closed hand. If I close hand on the, that's not okay, that's a penalty. And similarly, even with the pushing, if I've somehow string locked, this is bad. Don't do that either. Yep, so we need to be very considerate of our opponent. Remember, we're not only going for not injured, but not fearing of being injured. So it's just like, sometimes in a jostle, especially left against right, we're going to have this where you can just do this. Just that sort of nice and controlled open hand movement. Any questions? Stephen?
So just to clarify, we're calling for effective thrusts and cuts, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep, we've all read the rules, so we know thrusts and casts score the same. A deep target is torso and head, and shallow is your limbs. If you put your hand on here and it gets nailed to your chest, that's definitely a deep. If you put your hand up to catch a cut, you're probably going to get a warning. If you do it often and regularly, you're going to get a penalty. In the meantime, you'll probably get called on whatever it was that you're blocking with your hand. This is, sure, there's plenty of historic manuals that say it's better to take a cut on the hand than on the head. We've got masks on and really soft gloves, so that doesn't apply to us. So keep your hands out of the way of swinging swords. Stationary or thrusting swords, that's fine. It's just like, don't catch cuts.
Just clarification for grappling as well, well, for lack of grappling, if we can push out of the way, are we allowed to either go like underneath the arm to push out of the way, or would that be considered like a grappling?
Probably grappling. Come in and show me what you want.
Yeah. So like, if I've grappled and I've done something like that.
Yeah, grappling. It's just like too close. It's maybe you can jostle through. This looks like an intended martial arts activity. It's like, no, we're not fighting in that distance. It's like a little bit of passing through and moving around. If you've done the same thing, come back out. Can I set it up the same? How did you do it before? Yeah. Okay, so if I do it the same, if I do it the same to him, if I'm just like moving through, this is kind of fine. It's like that intent of grabbing or intent to fight rather than intent to grapple rather than just passing through.
But I can't do this slithery.
Yeah. This looks like intent to grapple. Yep, pretty clearly he's not just passing through. It's actually intending to like deal with and grapple. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just no grabs.
So we're grabbing the point.
Sorry?
We're grabbing the point, and then they're hanging out here. Hold on, we're just
so that is fine as long as, so we'll do two things. Come on, John, let's borrow you again. So if he's just hanging out in right angle, give me a nice right angle, yep. And I grab the point by the tip, that's not fair. Yeah, there's two parts of not fair about this. It's like we've got an artificial tip on it, which makes it really good grip where it may not have been. The other thing is if I was grabbing a tip, I would be in risk of going through me, which with a tip it's not. So as long as we grab above the tip, we don't pull on this and create a safety hazard by removing their tip and then getting stabbed in the face. So here it's fine, okay? And I can grab it anywhere, right up to before that tip. If your hand slides, there's a penalty. But also, if he just pulls my arm like that, so I hold that grip and he actually moves me, that's also going to be a penalty. Okay, so that's we don't know how sharps and gloves interact and so forth, so we're just going to say if there's any sort of like intended motion on that hand. So if it's here and he's pulling it like this, then yep, that's going to be a cut on my hand.
Penalty for who?
It's going to be 1 point against. It's going to count as a strike on the hand. Sorry, I used the wrong word. Yep, not penalty, just a point against.
Okay. And I'm assuming you can't pull the sword forward towards you.
To some extent, yeah.
You're allowed to do that?
So just like this,
Yeah.
it's fine. Yeah. Yep, especially if you're up here, you'll see that more likely.
Yeah.
Once again, we're being aware of the opponent and making sure they can get their hand out freely and not dislodging that person.